Ladies and gentlemen, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. I think it's safe to say that one of Warzone's biggest problems right now, at least, is Verdansk. And to be honest, Verdansk is a great battle royale map, but the thing is, the map hasn't really changed since the game launched like 9+ months ago. We got a hole in the roof of the stadium, we got some bunkers, we got not one, but two different types of trains, but outside of that, we really haven't seen any major map updates. No new points of interest, no replaced locations, nothing like that. However, over the past few days, a lot of talk has surfaced of the new Warzone map, what is really the next Warzone map that is said to come to the game at some point here in the future. And today we're breaking down everything that we currently know about the leaked map for Call of Duty Warzone. So if you enjoy the video at any point, or if you're just excited for another Warzone map, let me know by dropping a like on it. And if you're new to the channel, apparently over 60% of you guys watching the vids aren't already subscribed. So if you want to stay on top of basically everything going on in COD, this is the place to be. So feel free to subscribe and maybe even turn on those post notifications. Now, first and foremost, while it is exciting that a new Warzone map appears to be coming, the one downside of it all is the timing, because right now, it's not looking like we're going to have a new map for at least a little while. Now keep in mind, nothing is confirmed as far as the timing goes here. Activision and or Call of Duty haven't said anything publicly yet, but according to a handful of insider sources and just rumors going around right now, the common idea seems to be that sometime in March, around the 1-year anniversary of Warzone being launched, a new map could be on the way. So this means we're still a few months out from this happening, from this update potentially taking place. But for what it's worth, Season 1 is currently set to end around February 23rd or 24th, so maybe with the launch of Season 2, we're going to see this new map introduced, or perhaps in the Season 2 mid-season update, we'll get this map update. Of course, only time is going to tell for that, and if and when we learn anything there, I'll be sure to keep you guys updated, so stay tuned for that. Now, as to what this new map has in store for us, surprisingly, we've got a decent bit of information here that adds up pretty nicely with some leaked information we got a while back. You may recall that prior to Cold War being launched, Exclusive Ace ended up posting a now deleted video talking about some Cold War leaks, including a brand new Warzone map which included areas like a ski slope, a larger forest, and then also a lake with a central island on it. And keep those areas fresh in your minds because they're going to be pretty important here in just a moment. Now, as we know, the Cold War and Modern Warfare storylines are now intertwined and connected at this point, thanks to all the Warzone intel and whatnot. And most recently with the Rebirth Islands map update, we also got the whole Rebirth Island Easter egg, and inside of the secret room that's behind the yellow door, there's a lot of different papers and pictures all around the room, and one paper actually mentions the location of the Ural Mountains. Now, why is that important? Well, because it just so happens that the fire team maps in Cold War are set in the Ural Mountains. We've got Ruka, which is the forest map, and then we also have Alpine, which takes place on a ski slope. So going back to that leaked Warzone map that we had described to us before, a forest area, aka Ruka, Alpine, a ski slope area, then also a big lake with a central island. And what do you know, in comes Sanatorium, the very first DLC fireteam map that we've got for Cold War. That's going to be releasing at some point here in the coming weeks as a part of Season 1. And as we could see from the initial trailers showing off the map, this features a very large lake with a bunch of smaller islands and then also one bigger central island with a main building. You know, suddenly everything is adding up quite nicely. Now, to add to the conversation even more, as we know, the game files are pretty well known for, well, leaking a lot of things accidentally. It seems like with every single major title update, we get a bunch of new game files added in, and a lot of the time they're for future content. That's why we see leaks for things like new weapons, new operators, new maps, all sorts of stuff like that. But it just so happens that with the Fireteam Dirty Bomb maps, Ruka, Alpine, and even Sanatorium now, these maps are all named WZ_Ruka, WZ_Alpine, so on and so forth. WZ meaning, you guessed it, Warzone. So on top of these maps lining up with previous leaks, they're also literally titled as Warzone maps in the game files. But there is somehow still more. Obviously, the big team mode in Modern Warfare was Ground War, and there we saw maps like Karst River Quarry, Downtown Port, etc. And of course, all those maps ended up becoming a part of the Warzone map, and they're all basically connected in the Verdansk environment. Now, the big team mode here in Cold War is obviously fire teams, so it's almost like we're getting a repeat scenario where we're getting the big team mode maps mashed together to form a brand new map for Warzone, which personally I'm very excited for, especially because the fire team maps are pretty diverse so far. Obviously, Ruka and Alpine are very different from one another. Sanatorium honestly looks to be a beast on its own, And these are just 3 of the areas said to make up this Ural Mountains map. So as we get more fire team maps in the future, expect to see even more of them within Warzone in the near future based off of the information that we've got now. But obviously, outside of the new map itself, there is still a lot of other things to discuss when it comes to this upcoming update. For instance, what exactly is going to happen to Verdansk? Obviously, the initial nuke event that we were all anticipating for months thanks to the intel was, I guess you could say, thwarted by Captain Price and the new task force team as they stopped Viktor Zakhaev from launching the nuke. However, in classic movie and video game fashion, technically we never saw Viktor die, we just saw Viktor fall. So he could very well be down there just saying, "Help, I've fallen and I can't get up," or he could just be gone forever. We're not entirely sure yet. And the entire nuclear missile, the ICBM that's inside of bunker number 10, is still just sitting there. Price shuts off the machine to launch it, but the nuke itself is just chilling out max in that bunker still. So theoretically, anyone from Al-Qatala could just stroll on up and launch that sucker and we could go from there. Although, for what it's worth, the nuke was apparently aimed at the White House initially, according to the intel. But the nuke event, in my mind, is not entirely off the table, or at least what you could maybe call the nuke event part 2 at this point. So Verdansk could ultimately still be destroyed in the coming months, but at the same time, Activision could just make it so that we could play Verdansk or this new Ural Mountains map, and that way we could just pick and choose whatever one we wanted to play. Then, of course, on top of that, we also have Rebirth Island as well. So at least as of right now, it's kind of hard to say what'll be the end result here, Verdansk being replaced or us just having multiple map options. Honestly, either or could make sense for the canon storyline for what it's worth, but again, we're just gonna have to wait and see. Like I said earlier though, I feel like one of Warzone's biggest downfalls outside of obviously the absurd amount of cheaters and the over-the-top skill-based matchmaking is the fact that the map just hasn't changed. I mean, if you had an overhead view of Verdansk on day 1 and then also Verdansk now side by side, you wouldn't really notice any major differences aside from a few new random buildings here and there, and also the hole inside of the stadium and then in the airport tarmac as well. However, if these map leaks turn out to be true, it seems like Warzone could be getting very, very interesting here in a few months, and hopefully we get some exciting updates in between then and now just to keep things feeling fresh leading up to that 1-year anniversary. Obviously, like I said, that's still a pretty decent ways away in terms of, you know, how many updates we're going to have in between then and now if this timing is right. But at the same time, I would expect to see a lot of intel sort of previewing this, and just knowing Call of Duty with an update this big, if this comes to fruition, there's going to be a lot of marketing and a lot of promotion for it as well. So leading up to this actual update, I would expect to know a decent amount of info about it ahead of time. But yeah, there you have it. With all of that being said, that is effectively everything we currently know about the next Warzone map, and that is going to wrap things up for today. If you enjoyed the video, let me know by dropping a like on it. And of course, if you're new here and you want to stay up to date with pretty much everything going on in COD, from news to intel to updates and everything else in between, feel free to subscribe with your notifications turned on. That way you'll always know whenever I post a new video. As always, if you want to check out any of my partners, be sure to use code WHosImmortal for a discount on all Scuff, G Fuel, and Control Freak products. Then also, if you want to join the community Discord server, the link to that and everything else will be down in the description below. But once again, thanks so much for tuning in, and until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.